If you're on a Chromebook, here's how you can use Github and Codespaces to write some basic code. My first step is going to be to make a new repository. I'm calling this rock, paper, scissors demo, and I can go ahead and create it. To begin, I'm going to create a new file, give the file a name, and I'm putting in a super basic print statement. Then I can commit the changes, stating what I did. And as we can see, it was successful because the commit is now. If I'm wanting to run this code, what I can do is I can click on the instructions and I'm going to copy the code. At the top left-hand side, I can go into Codespaces and I'm going to create a blank code space. Let me choose a theme, so I went with dark mode. And the first thing I'm going to do is make myself a new file. I'm going to call it myspace.py and I can go ahead and paste in my code. If it's the first time you're using Python, you'll want to install the extension. You might need to wait a moment for that extension to load, and hopefully when it's done, you'll have a play button that will let you run your code. At this point, I'm going to flip my code space onto the right-hand side of my screen and set it up so that I can see what it's doing. And I'm going to move Github onto the left-hand side. I do need to make sure that I am back in Github, so I'll go over to my home page. And I'm wanting to actually recycle the instructions from a previous project. This is super easy because I can go into that project, I can grab my instructions, and then I can copy those instructions and paste over the code in my workspace. Next, I can customize those instructions, run it in the code space to make sure it does what it needs to do. And when I'm happy with the edits, I'm going to copy the code. I've opened a new tab and gone back into GitHub. I've gone into my rock, paper, scissors demo repository, select the instructions code, go ahead and edit it, and paste in the updated code from our code space. Then I can go ahead and commit those changes, putting in a sensible commit message. As you work on your project, what you want to do is edit the code in Codespaces and run it, and then copy and paste it into your GitHub repository, committing each time. A reminder that if you look at your repository, you should be able to confirm that your commits are being done. If you change computers or you're working at home, you repeat these steps going into GitHub, getting your code, opening up a code space, and copying and pasting between the two areas, making sure that your most updated code is always on GitHub so that you can always find it and edit it. One thing that you can do is inside your code spaces, if you end up with multiple code spaces, you can actually remove the code spaces that you don't need. So you can see that I've got 2, and I really only need 1. So it's a really great habit to remove the code spaces that you don't need. And you'd only do this once you've double checked that the code that you're working on has made it safely into your GitHub repository.